Bienvenidos a un nuevo video. Sometimes, life takes a turn that changes everything. Things get hard, unbearably hard. I'm under extreme financial pressure, and I feel helpless. I'm buried in debt and need to find a way to pay it off. Please, if you can, support me so I can escape this overwhelming burden. The creditors are pressing me every single day, and it's becoming too much to handle. Story. In purposely forgetting all my friends' birthdays this year, that whiny idiot being torn to shreds on here for being upset everyone forgot his birthday made me realize I've been stupid for memorizing pointless dates that don't matter. Any friend who says anything is getting blocked. Story. Whipta if I cancelled going to homecoming with someone? This guy I've been friends with since about April asked me to homecoming, and I agreed to go. But now he's dropping hints that we would be going as a couple, not as friends, which I didn't agree to. By going I'm afraid that it would lead him on, as he's looking more into our friendship than I am. Additionally, I don't particularly enjoy school dances, and I wouldn't know anyone there save from some acquaintances from middle school. I went to a separate high school up until this year, 11ª grade. I'm also losing interest in the thought of going. Adding on more, my schedule is about to get fairly busy with juggling my college classes and my job, and I don't know if I'll have the time to focus on anything else. Bita if I cancelled my plans on him? Story. Whipta for asking my neighbor to stop smoking in her house? I live in a townhouse-style condo, so we have a neighbor on each side, and all of the rooms on the left side of my house always smell like cigarette smoke. I know my neighbor smokes because I regularly see her smoking on her balcony during nice weather. I assume, due to the smell, that during bad weather she smokes inside. It was only a mild smell until recently, but now her son, I'm guessing, moved back in with her and the smell has become unbearable. On top of that, I'm worried about second-hand smoke and all of the health problems that can arise just for living in my own house. Would I be the asshole for leaving an anonymous, polite, and I emphasize polite, letter in her mailbox, asking if they could please stop smoking in their house and explaining why? It wouldn't be that anonymous since it could only be one of two neighbors, and, assuming she smokes in her bathroom, since it's on the other side of mine and that's where the smell is always worst, it'd be pretty obvious it's from me, but I feel like leaving it anonymous might come across as less confrontational. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but I really am concerned about my health. Story. Whipta for confronting my roommate about drinking milk out of the gallon when it's technically his milk? So, I'm in an on-campus apartment, and I have several roommates. All of us cook, though I cook the least. Last night, I saw one of my roommates drink the milk directly out of the jug. Now, technically it's his because he bought it. However, he did say we could use a bit on occasion, as long as it's not too much. He wanted to make mac and cheese today, but I didn't because I don't want to use milk he drank out of. So, onto the question, would I be the asshole if I confronted him on drinking the milk out of the gallon? On one hand, it's his, so he can do what he wants, but on the other hand, he did say we can use it, so there is the expectation and knowledge that other people might eventually use that milk. What the? Story. I applied for a job and they wanted to interview me but I didn't show up. I don't remember applying for that job but they rang me. The phone call went really well and they said they'd send a confirmation email but they didn't. That was yesterday. I rang them today and I asked if they knew who I was and it didn't sound like they did. They gave me the details and I said I'd be there at 10. I changed my mind a little while ago and it's 10:40 now and they said they were waiting for me. I feel really bad and I know that I'm the asshole, just wish I had the courage to tell them I wasn't coming in. Story. Adieu for asking my so to get rid of his stuff? Posting this on a throwaway account. My so and I moved in together a couple of months ago into a small one-bedroom apartment, and the lack of space and amount of stuff he has is suffocating to me. I have given away a lot of my things to try to make our apartment less crowded, but he still has many things filling our apartment, including a giant desk, which he hardly uses, and an old chair that is too big for the amount of space we have. I don't want to make him throw away his things, but I would like to ask him to put some of it in storage or at his parents' house. However, he doesn't see a problem with the amount of things in our apartment, and wants to hang on to the majority of his stuff, even books he doesn't read or old clothes he doesn't wear. TLDR, adieu for asking him to remove his stuff from our shared space when it makes me feel cramped and claustrophobic. Thank you for any input. Story. Why? Used why? How is it that a person can respond to a post where someone is not feeling great about themselves and you try to write something to try to make the person feel better, but then one sentence of the entirety of your post gets taken and ripped to shreds and you get to be the bad person? Story, Pee-wee football complains am I the asshole for going to a higher authority about our issues with a coach? This one coach is involved in basically every sport. And he's is awful. In life and in coaching. He got put on coaching probation last year for his excessive screaming at kids. My son was 6 when he played for him last year. But he's back to coach again this year. He is aggressive, allows dirty gameplay, and pushes these little kids as if they're playing in the NFL. He is seriously one of the most arrogant individuals I have ever met. He made sure my son was not on his team this year. But even after many parents expressed concern, the director, who is cut from the same cloth, doesn't care enough to do anything about his behavior. Yesterday he proudly posted a picture of his son throwing an elbow into the neck of a competitor as well as a horse collar tackle and captioning he deserved it. Desde 7 years old. And it is a flag football. So I screenshot it and sent it to their school principal stating that this coach is an embarrassment to our school standards. I fully anticipate the football board thinking that I'm a bitch or a crazy helicopter parent, but this guy is out of control. Story, whipped if I complained to hotel management that housekeeping threw all my business trip receipts away. I had a Starbucks bag on the counter with all my receipts from this trip. Housekeeping threw it out today, sometime after lunch. He specifically didn't set it on the floor by the trash can and there were no food wrappers in it. Also, it was a sturdy brown construction paper kind of bag with handles, not a plastic bag that looks like trash. There was at least $200 worth of expenses in there. Story, idea for not enjoying an all-expense-paid family trip because my family can't be nice and civil to each other? So my parents bought a week-long resort 2-bedroom in Branson, Mo. It's really nice and we have tickets to some shows and the whole thing sounds super fun. My parents asked me and my sister to come along and they paid for the whole thing so we wouldn't have an excuse to not go on a family vacation. I'm not going to go into the details of my mom and sister's behavior, psychology, and who they are as people since that would take forever. That is pretty okay. I have posted to Just No Family a couple times about my sister. Basically, my mom is emotionally immature and has an attitude over the smallest things and my sister is just nasty for no reason, all the time, because that's who she is as a person. I actually almost declined going because I don't like being around my family because of these reasons and those unmentioned, but my parents love spending time with me and really pushed for me to go. I feel so guilty for not having a good time, I just want to cry. My parents paid all this money for me to have an awesome trip but I can't enjoy it because my mom and sister are at everyone's throats over nothing. Like nothing has even gone wrong, no hitches or obstacles, just not respecting boundaries, mother, and general nastiness, sister, randomly for no reason. Aita for not enjoying this awesome all-expense-paid trip because my family can't be nice and civil to each other? And if Emendie, how do I enjoy this trip despite their nastiness? Story, Adie for yelling at my boyfriend for touching me in a way I don't like? 23F, have this thing where I don't like being poked in my belly. My boyfriend, 27 metros, knows this, or should, as I've told him I don't like it when he does it, I don't like being touched there randomly, and every other which way I could have explained to him. I just don't like it, please don't do it. It's done it enough times that I don't feel like I should tolerate it and should speak up more sternly. It works down the street from my place of work and occasionally we do lunches together. He picked me up and we chit-chat and he pokes me in my belly and I slap his hand away, tell him not to do that, he does it again, and I lost it. He yelled at him, and I felt bad. He apologized for yelling but that was it. He was in a bad mood after that, didn't say a word during lunch together, dropped me off at work, then when we got home later that night it was still the silent treatment and passive-aggressive jabs at one another under our breaths. So, am I the asshole for not letting him touch my body the way he wanted to, when he wanted to, because of a preference I have? I'm an asshole for yelling, but I apologized for that specifically, and I was genuine about it and I feel awful for yelling because I dislike people that resort to yelling and it's wicked rude, but like, it's my body. Carita mosqueada. Story, whipped for telling me friend that her boyfriend is trolling for hookups, title added my am on fat laugh along with my boyfriend. My boyfriend posted about some kinkiness between us and this guy PM'd him and this guy is my very good friend's boyfriend. It doesn't know I'm the girl because he and my BF haven't met and my name wasn't expressly mentioned in the post. Bita for telling her that her BF contacted some random person, as far as he's concerned, about anonymous sex with strangers? Story, trends so. Full disclosure. eBay posted on here before under a different account. They had an interaction with a friend that led to us not being friends anymore. And I got a lot of support saying I wasn't being an asshole. But, I still miss that person as my friend. And in the last 2 years, my friend group has shrunk from like 10 to 3. Every situation is different, and I've talked with others about it and I don't think I'm the asshole in the majority. But, I think to myself, how can I lose all these friends and not be the problem myself? I can appreciate that losing friends is a part of growing up. But, it kind of feels like the water is rising around in me and I don't know what to do. I had this conversation of the post with friends that aren't my friends anymore. People expressed, hey, I don't wanna lose any more friends, let's not stop over ignorant shit. And, it keeps happening? I feel like either I'm a huge asshole and don't know it, or my friends are and I'm just trying to not be an asshole anymore. Both seem like unlikely extremes. I'm not that good, or that bad. I think I'm a regular person, if just a little more thoughtful. I think this is what's depressing the most, that my experience maybe isn't unique. That sets the standard. And that it's wrong to expect more. I don't know. TL//DR. If you're losing friends, how do you know the difference between you being an asshole and life just happening? Story. If I don't like the Ellen show or Ellen, I just don't think she is a funny comedian. She is very corporate, and all her messages are forced in. Whenever I say I don't want to watch the Ellen show when my family puts it on, I say I don't want to and explain why. They then put it on anyways and look at me funny. Aita? Story. For being angry at my boyfriend over something he said 10 months ago? Lately I haven't been able to shake off the feeling that my boyfriend thinks that he's settling for me. We have different political views, and he's expressed in the past and before we started dating that he'd like to settle down with someone who is exactly on the same page as him, and with whom he can freely share his mind with. While this was slightly unsettling back then, I assumed that he had moved on from that thinking and truly felt like he could still share everything with me, even if we may disagree on some things. Fast forward to now, I snooped around and found a conversation on his laptop from November of last year. I wasn't snooping that deeply, he rarely ever uses that messaging app, where he was talking to a friend about wanting to move to a different part of the country. My boyfriend was expressing frustration about there being no good conservative girls out where we live now, and that while there is certainly some good eye candy, there's no one he thought he could become serious with. And then, 4 weeks after that conversation happened, and 4 months after we started seeing each other, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I guess my question is, am I right in feeling angry about that conversation? I know snooping is wrong, and I feel like a bad girlfriend for doing it, but I'm so hurt by the knowledge that he thought I was only eye candy after 3 months of us seeing each other. By then we had already talked about becoming more serious, and he had expressed to me that he wanted that. I'm just so confused right now, any input is welcome. Story. For no longer helping // listening to a friend? Trovavai BC reasons. Also turned out longer than I thought. Maiso and I have been together for 2 years now, and we met through a mutual friend. Said friend, B, female, is in a relationship with L, female. During the course of their relationship, P has called me multiple times to ask for relationship advice. L is a compulsive liar and does not like P as friends, me and Maiso included, because we don't want them to constantly make out, full-on French kissing. They think it's okay because it's girl-on-girl action and most people watch lesbian porn. Maybe I should also mention the fact that we're all in our 20s. Personally, do not like L, so I might just be biased. She has hit P multiple times, she's always lying about her whereabouts and she blocks P's number multiple times a week. P always calls me for advice and my opinion, whether it's about clothes or her relationship, because she knows I am always honest with her. He told P that I think L is not a good person, and that I can spot the red flags from miles away. P told me she was going to break up with L, which she didn't. The cycle continued, they kept fighting, P kept calling me screaming and crying, at least once a month, which was exhausting honestly. After about 9 months and over 60 hysterical phone calls, I snapped and told P that I was getting sick and tired of her calling me just to complain about L, ask me what to do, and then completely ignore my advice. My friends are my family and I hate seeing them get hurt, it puts a strain on me to be honest. I worry about P a lot, especially after those hysterical calls, that's one of the reasons why I told her to stop. She told Maiso she felt really hurt because I don't want to help her anymore, and now Maiso thinks I'm a huge bitch. ¿Am I the asshole? Gracias por escuchar. Suscríbete para más relatos de terror.